What's something you thought was cool as a kid but realized was illegal when you got older? When I was 10, my Uncle Paul had the coolest job ever. He drove this beat-up ice cream truck around our neighborhood every summer. That thing was like magic to me. The music playing, all those colorful pictures of popsicles and sundaes on the side, kids running after it with crumpled dollar bills. I thought he was basically the king of summer. But the best part? One day he let me come with him. I remember him tossing me this wrinkled apron that was way too big and saying, "Hop in, kiddo. You're my assistant today." I felt like the coolest kid alive. I got to sit in the front seat, help hand out ice cream, take money from customers, and even count change. It was like playing store but with real people and real money. Paul started giving me $10 at the end of each day, calling it my cut. I thought I was so grown up, having my own job at 10 years old. Pretty soon it became our weekend thing. Every Saturday and Sunday, I'd wait by the window for Paul's truck to pull up. Mom would pack me a lunch and off we'd go for another day of what I thought was the best job in the world. Everything seemed normal until this one Saturday when some guy flagged us down. No kids around, just him standing on the corner. That was weird because usually only parents with kids or teenagers buying stuff for their friends came to the truck. This guy bought 2 drumsticks and an orange soda. Nothing crazy. But then Paul handed him something wrapped in a napkin along with his change. I asked Paul what that was about. He just winked at me and said, "Grown-up stuff, don't worry about it." As summer went on, more and more adults started showing up without any kids. Always quick transactions. Always with Paul slipping them something extra in a napkin or doing these weird hand gestures I didn't understand. Sometimes they'd whisper numbers to him. I just figured grown-ups really liked overpriced ice cream, or maybe Paul was giving out coupons or something. One time this lady came up and ordered a single ice cream sandwich. Paul gave her the usual napkin thing, but she shook her head and held up 2 fingers. He nodded and gave her a different napkin. I thought maybe she wanted extra napkins because ice cream sandwiches are messy. The weirdest customers were these college-age kids who'd show up in groups. They'd order like 1 popsicle between all 5 of them, then Paul would do this complicated handshake with one of them. I thought it was just some secret handshake thing, like what me and my friends did. I never questioned any of it because Paul seemed happy, business was good, and I was making money. $10 was huge for a 10-year-old. I could buy Pokemon cards, candy, whatever I wanted. Mom kept asking where I was getting money from, and I'd proudly tell her about my ice cream truck job. The summer ended, and I went back to school, but I kept thinking about how cool it would be to work with Paul again next year. Maybe by then I'd be old enough to drive the truck myself. But when I turned 15, everything changed. I was watching the news with my mom when a story came on about a drug bust. They showed footage of cops surrounding an ice cream truck and my heart stopped. It was Paul's truck. The reporter said police had been investigating reports of drug dealing from ice cream trucks around the city. They'd caught the driver in a sting operation, selling marijuana to an undercover cop. That's when it all clicked. Those napkins Paul was handing out weren't napkins at all. They were little baggies. The weird hand gestures weren't secret handshakes. They were signals for what drugs people wanted. Those college kids weren't sharing 1 popsicle. They were buying weed and using the ice cream as cover. My mom was horrified when I told her I'd been working with Paul that summer. She started freaking out about how I could have been arrested, how I was technically part of a drug operation, how Paul had put me in danger without me even knowing it. I felt so stupid. All those times I thought I was just an ice cream assistant, I was actually helping my uncle deal drugs. I'd been handing out snacks while he handed out illegal substances right next to me. The $10 he gave me wasn't payment for scooping ice cream, it was probably drug money. Paul got 5 years in prison. I never saw him again after that summer when I was 10.